the stream is about to get ready, so I'll share it for those people who cannot join. They join the meeting, they can watch the live stream. So today's agenda is we will play with the flex box, because yesterday we were trying to clone we were trying to clone LinkedIn. You saw how we installed Figma, got a LinkedIn clone design, and we started trying to design it exactly the way it should be. So however, today we'll take a little pause for at least an hour or a few minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and see how the the flex box works. We'll play with the flex box, play with its properties, and play with the child elements.
Yes.
Yeah. So the video is also live. Let me quickly share the live stream video to the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can continue now. So let me start by sharing my screen. Okay, yes, that is ready, and we are ready to go. So, okay. Hello.
Yes, you can hear you.
So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the code editor?
Yes.
Okay, let me run it live. Sorry for the background noise.
No problem. No, I think it's because maybe you're in the CSS folder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sometimes this thing is confused someone. So this is where we stopped, and
yes.
most of us don't know how CSS. Sorry, the grid works. So, but before I carry on, is everyone satisfied with the little explanation I've given on grid CSS, or should I just take time to explain grid?
No, from what we did yesterday, yes, I understand the place.
Okay, so let's see. Let's still play around with for the benefits of those people who don't understand. So let's go to the main right now. This is all going to be temporary, and you would see me create a branch called. I'll create a branch right now. Git branch.
I don't know, like, are you going to like teach us on the Git, like the full everything about Git?
Of course.
Or learn that ourselves? Okay.
No, I'll teach you. Don't worry. There will be a time for there will be a time for Git itself. There will be a time for Git itself, probably next week. But now we'll focus on cloning LinkedIn first. Once we are done. But however, I know the basics is you know how to clone. I showed you how to clone the existing projects.
Yes.
So for those people who haven't, who can't follow along with the live stream, they can, after watching the video, when it persists on YouTube, you can always go to the GitHub account and just clone. Last session I showed you how to do that. So let me open up the GitHub page, and every day, if you can even do that every day, once you join the class and maybe you're having problems with your own old can just clone the existing one. So let's see if I can just find the repo. I was supposed to put it out earlier. So let me just bring out my repositories and open that GitHub, the LinkedIn clone. I think, okay. I think I'm looking for the clone. I sent it yesterday on the group. Does anyone has the link to just paste it for me? Because I'm in the YouTube rabbit hole.
I don't think I have the link.
You don't have the link?
No, because I was like up to date to where you were. So that was
Okay, let me see. Wait.
maybe if you can check your history or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the main LinkedIn underscore clone. I'm trying to see the main stuff. You mean check the history of my browser?
Yes.
It seems I didn't push yesterday, but that's not a problem. So we can easily do that. It's pushed, but I can't find the repo. So let's see my latest commit. It's right now, but it seems I can't find the latest commit. Let's go to my. Oh, it seems. Wow. There was a mistake. I actually cloned it. I actually pushed into Instagram clone.
Oh, okay.
What a mistake. Wow. This isn't funny. So what we can do, I think there's a solution. I can just change it to the Instagram. Let's see. Anyways, this is the code. You can always copy it. For now, let's copy it. I'll fix those ones later after the class. So let me paste the link to you. So I'm adding it to the chat here. You can clone it.
Should I post it in the group chat also so that maybe if someone?
Yes, you can. So let's continue with the cloning. But first, let's talk about the Flexbox. So within the main tag of our project, let's do a temporary work called Flexbox. Then we end it. So first we need a div. So the div is going to have a class called maybe learn Flexbox. And we're going to have say 5 divs, and all those divs are going to just have numbers. 1,
Can't you just do the
2.
yesterday or something?
Yeah.
Can't I just do the is it times hash? I don't know. The shortcut we did yesterday.
I used it. I just used it.
Oh.
I'm only writing the numbers in between. So, okay, this is fine. I forgot to do something, which is give them classes, each item classes. So to do that, I can just highlight them. Okay. There's a way I do highlight coming. If I can still remember, I think it's Alt Shift, no? Control Z, I think it's Control Shift. Well, I can't remember. So let's just Control Select. Let's just give the class. So the class, we can name it, let's say, item, flex item.
I'm sorry. What's like the shortcut again? Is div times what or something?
Okay, let me do it again.
Okay.
So div then times, how many times do you want that div? And if it
5?
has a class, yes. So if it has a class, like
Okay.
flex item, flex dash item, you provide and hit enter, and it will automatically generate those classes for you. So number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5. So this is okay. So are you seeing the GitHub website? Let me open it. The LinkedIn website. Can you see the 1, 2, 3 appear?
Yes. Yeah. Also on mine too.
Okay. So let's see. All right. Oh, I'm opening the code. I think I opened the code twice. Let me close the first one. Don't need it. So let's talk about Flexbox. So, for a long time, the only reliable, way to, the only reliable cross-browser compatibility tool we have is the float and the positioning. So I don't know if you've worked with the floating and the positioning before. So where, let's say, for example, if we wanted this one to appear by the right, we use the, let me see. If we wanted something to appear at the right, because I don't want to tamper with the classes. We've not even created them yet in the CSS folder. So we can add, remember, inline style. We can add an inline style and just float it to the left or to the right rather, because we want it to appear separately. So when we float it to the left, it's supposed to go all the way to the left. Can you see? The 1 is at the left. Let me zoom the screen. You see the 1 is at the left.
I can see the 1.
So those were the ways we used to position things, which is not very convenient. So later they created the Flexbox. Let me Control Z this because we don't need it anymore. Now, and using positioning. Positioning is still used up till today, where we have the relative position and the absolute position.
Yes.
So it's still relevant till today. Now, the best way to achieve positioning, laying out items, is 2 ways: the grid and the flex. So, but for now, for the scope of this particular tutorial, cloning of LinkedIn, we would focus more on the flex because we don't, in the LinkedIn Figma file, we don't have any use for using a grid. So let me even open up the LinkedIn Figma file and show you.
Okay.
So while it's opening, we can still continue talking about flex. So let's say, for example, you have a site that has articles and you want to arrange them in a way that there will be a main div that shows that, oh, this is the heading of the article. Then you have the other articles as the items, and you want to arrange them in separate ways. Let's use Flex to do that. And sometimes you can even achieve responsive design with Flex alone. So let's see if we can achieve this by saying, instead of saying 1, we can say this is a heading flex, right? Then we can say that this is article 1. Article 1, article 2, and article 3 respectively. We can take out this 5 for now by commenting it. We might need it later. I'm still going to do, I might still do some examples with it. Article 3. Who has the background noise, please? Can you mute? This is live on YouTube, please. Okay. So if you're not saying anything, you can stay muted, you know, and once you need to say something, you can click on your spacebar to talk. So by default, you should be muted. So if we go back to the page, you see it's arranged in a column manner. It's arranged, it's stacked on top of each other. The first div takes the first article. The second one takes the first div takes the heading. The second takes the article 1. The first article takes the article 1, the second article 2, and the article 3 respectively. So let's add some styling for them. Let's add some styling to them. I really need everyone to understand Flexbox before we carry on, before we move on. So remember, we have this class Learn Flexbox. So we need to create the class called Learn Flexbox. So we paste this. Remember to always put that your dots. That's what indicates that you're directly talking with a class. So how do we make a collection of items flex? Let me go back. So you see you have this particular div is surrounding these 3 divs or these 4 divs. So to make it work as a flex item, we need to tell it, oh, you be a flex, so that your children, that's your child elements, positioning will be relative to, or will be directly in relation to how we define the attributes of the flex. So in the flex here, in the learning flex box, we need to give it an attribute called display. So the display attribute is what tells the browser, oh, this is how we want to display this particular element. And once we say flex, we are hereby telling it, oh, we want a flexed item. And you can see immediately, that immediately it changed the appearance of that particular div. You can see the heading, the flex article, the flex article 1, 2, and 3 are all displayed horizontally. If I just do one extra thing, which is add one extra property, which is flex direction, you are telling it how the flex direction, the flex should appear by saying flex column. To go back to the initial state, each element will try to take the full width. So we would maintain it. This is one property you should learn about, which is the the column direction. So let's do some styling. Let's indicate this is a heading. Let's indicate that this is the first article, the second, and the third. So we can add another class called article heading. Article dash heading. You would see why in a bit we need that. So we'll give it a height. For now, we'll not be using relative heights. We'll use the pixel units. So we'll give it about 50 px or 30 px would do. So nothing is happening because we haven't added this class anywhere. You can just copy it and paste it in the index.html for the heading. So paste it here, take out the dots. Let's go back. Save, go back. Maybe I should, okay, there's a problem here, okay. So you see, it has increased the height. So let's change the color for easy explanation. Like let's make the color a purple one, a background color rather, a background color of purple. And let's make text color white. So by just saying color and providing the white, it becomes white. Now this is the article's heading. So let's do some styling for the rest of the article. So we can just go copy the class, the flex item class, and give some specific values. So the values would be probably the height should be, we don't need to define the height for this one. So all we need to do maybe is to, let's say, let's leave it for now. Let's leave it for now because let's come in. Let's see what I can do here. Okay. Let's give it a height. We don't need to give it a, because we're going to provide more content to it. So let's give it a background color. And not attachment, background color, and maybe give it maybe or Azure. Let's give it Azure. Azure would be fine. Then let's give it a margin, a general margin of, let's say, 10 px. Good. So let's go back to the heading. We don't need to call it flex item. Let's just save it so that it remains the heading. Then one more thing we need to do is add some text. There is, if you're using I don't know which browser, if you're using this VS Code, if you write p tag and write lorem, it will automatically emit jargon for you, like temporary text for you. So let's add this lorem to all these articles. So a p tag. So we want lorem added to it. Come in. A p tag and a lorem added to it. I think it won't work. So we have to go out and write this lorem ourselves. So let's do it that way. Our p tag, then a lorem ipsum. So we have these three articles. This is fine. There is nothing, this is absolutely perfect if you want your site to be like this. So, but with the power of Flexbox, we can start to edit each and every flex item. We can say, oh, the flex, the article 1 should appear at the right side of the right side, and article 2 should appear at the middle, and article 3 should be the last article. Maybe we don't want it to be stacked to each other. So first we need to make the flex direction. Let's take this thing gradually. So there is a property called the flex direction. I've already showed you that one. So the flex direction here is what is the learning flex? The flex direction here is column. So we can make it row. That is the default flex direction. You don't need to always make it a row. You don't need to write the row. It's the default one. But did you notice that the header we wanted is now taking a little space? So there is another property called the flex grow. This is for the items now. So maybe you want something to go to become big, to take the whole width. You can use the flex grow and make it take the rest of the space. So for the article heading, we can add this flex grow and make it 4. I'm coming. So let's see what I'm coming. There's something I'm missing here. Something I'm missing. There is a particular property I'm missing. So because that's what I can use to make the flex take the whole width. Just give me a minute. Okay.
Make. She was in the phone. Make I let you go. Join one meeting.
Okay, let's see this.
Yeah.
So the flex itself. Let me make it 1 and see what happens. Nothing. Let me make it 3 of. See, it's supposed to increase the width. Flex. What is happening, baby? It seems like we are having a problem with my flex skills too. Coming. Let me check the flex cheat sheet. Let's quickly check the flex cheat sheet. Hello, Ali. It seems like you left the group. Sorry, you left the meeting.
Yeah, Ali has gone.
No, I'm back.
Okay. So I'm trying to quickly check the flex cheat. There is a cheat sheet actually. So and I use the cheat sheet a lot. So much that sometimes I don't even memorize the flex box itself. So let me quickly Google let me open the site to you and show you what I was trying to do. This is supposed to be flex grow, but for some reason, the flex grow attribute isn't working for because flex grow. Okay. Hasn't taken shape. give me some few seconds. Come on, shit. Aha. So let me open the site for you to see. Let me copy it to you too, because sometimes this Flexbox can get really confusing, except if you use it every single day. So what I was trying to do was to use the Flex to make one of them take the whole width. And it seems I can't do that directly. So based on the Flex cheat sheet. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So what I'm missing actually here is 2. Now, even though I specified 3 here, I need to also specify for the rest, the Flex group. So let's go to the main site, to the main app. So the LinkedIn here. So we are taking 1, 2, 3, 4 items. So I need to say the Flex grow should be 4. And maybe this other items, this ones, the Flex grow should be 1. So this is supposed to fix it. Well, since it can't fix it, we'll just move to something else. Let's just change what we are trying to do. This it's not doing what I want, what I'm expecting it to do. And from the example we have here, the Flex grow, maybe I'll just take some time and look into this Flex and come back later. So what I'm suggesting is, let me just, since the Flex they're trying to work on in the LinkedIn is not too complex, we'll just go back to using we'll just use what we can do. We'll just do what we can do with our little knowledge we have. Then I will look into Flexbox and maybe come back fully with a better Flexbox class tomorrow. So we don't need all these classes right now. We can take them out and just continue our LinkedIn. I believe we should be able to handle that one well. So that we don't dwell on this for now. So where we stopped is we were trying to achieve the header, and we got this out. So we can continue with that one now. Let me share the Figma UI too. So let me add the Figma to the screens that are sharing. Okay. So can you see the Figma file now? Hello, can anyone see the Figma file?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Right. So we've achieved this, and we let's block in this ones before. Let's block in this ones before we go into detail, like having the name, the item. So let's block in this. So this is another icon. So if you have the Figma file, all you need to do is to double click till you get it to the icon, right click on copy as SVG. Once you right click on copy, then copy as SVG. I believe we have the div already to accommodate that. So which is this particular div? Let's collapse the tabs item. So let's collapse the tabs. So if you notice the tab item, we can do one of this, either add a border radius to the tab, the collapsed tab item now, or we add another div. I think the best thing to do is just add the the side border. The easiest thing rather we can do is to add the side. So the tab, okay, this is the right nav itself. Has a tab item, and this tab item has only these items. That's this ban, this notification bell. Then if you notice, there is this extra. So I don't know what we should call this div. We should give it a class called what does this button even do in LinkedIn? I can't remember.
I think. In what?
Does anyone use LinkedIn intensively? What does this button do? This one here, I can't remember what it does, so that we give it the name of the class. We can call it promotion or something like that. Let's just call it promotion. So I need to wrap these two because these two divs are out there. So I need to wrap them up, or we can just continue that way. Okay. Can just continue and paste this div for now. It will come out. You will see the square kind of the grid icon. Then this particular one, we just need to copy the text. So double click the property, you'll see the texts there. And usually you see the text there. This is the content. So copy it and we paste it here. If you like, you can add a p tag and paste it, but we can give it a class, or this is a good time to use an inline style. If this isn't going to appear multiple times, if we are not going to have it appear multiple times. For now, we will not focus on giving it a giving it a font type. All we need to do is to provide this color, which is given to us here. We just paste the color there. So color. Someone is saying something?
Yeah, I'm trying to get something. Okay.
So this is the color. The best we can do right now is to maybe provide the font size, but not the font type. We'll talk about fonts later. In the next tutorial where we try to clone another site, we'll talk about the fonts. So let me just copy this and paste. So there is an attribute called, just finish this down. There is an attribute called the font. Font size. So let's just copy this attribute, font size, and paste. So you can see how powerful Figma itself is. You can always just go copy the exact values and paste them. So we need to make this, we need to start working on the detail. So this is already appearing a bit nice, but we can make it even better. Then there is one thing I noticed yesterday is this Figma board was designed for a screen that has a resolution of up to a width of up to 1,440 pixels. So you notice mine isn't appearing very well because mine stopped at 1,280. So, and the values we're getting is for 1,000, and the decision we're making is all for 1,140. So if I inspect element, you will notice that I am getting the right display. I'm getting the right output. Why? Because my screen size is smaller than what was initially designed here. So one thing to keep note is if you're working with a UI UX designer, make sure he works with the default. He starts with the default design, or you find the default design for your screen. Even though he has made the project as responsive as possible, there is no design for my particular screen. It might look good on your own screen, or some things might look different. Why? Because of the width we were getting are for a screen width that is either higher or lower than yours. So if you know that your screen width is not up to 1440 pixels, you should click on inspect element. Once you click on inspect element, click on this icon here that you can say toggle, that says toggle device toolbar, or you can hit Ctrl Shift M for Windows and Command Shift M for Mac. It will toggle it for to device preview, and you can select various devices. This is my device screen, and this is the device screen that the UI UX was designed for. So I think if you can see the screen, this is how we would continue with this class, so that we don't all get confused. Do you understand? Are we all on the same page? All right. So let's go into the detail. Now, this particular tabs have the property of stretch, and they have these three icons, these three elements: the icon itself, the definition text, and finally this underline, which is hidden based on the active. If it's not active, it won't show. If it's active, it will show. So right now, let's do this without the border radius here. So let's bring everything to be aligned to the bottom. Using flex, we can achieve that. So let's go to our style.css and go right where we have the tab item. So this is presumably the tab item. Let me be sure by giving it a background color of pink.
Yes. It's a tab item. I remember yesterday. We just gave it a width.
So this is it. So I gave it this color intentionally to see how it's placed. We noticed some things. The tab item itself, the items are placed to the top right. Meanwhile, in the design, it's placed at the center, and it has other, elements within it. So we can do something called the nested flex. So we can also make it have a display of flex. Display of flex. So that alone is not good enough. So the items itself, let's go back. Let's go back to the HTML. So the tab item, each tab item would have, okay, let's align items to center. It's aligned to the center. Then justify content. Well, that's not what we want. Yes, the flex direction. We are not getting what we want because the flex direction is on row. So we have to make it column so that when we align items to the center, it shifts from the side to the middle. Now we need to make the items itself start at the bottom, because you see this is the very last item. So we can either do a trick and make this an item that will be hidden if based on the activeness, or we can make it we can make it an item. It looks like this is placed in the center, or we can make use of after, the after keyword, and make it appear based on the active tab. So let's pick one. right now, I think I would use the after because it will be an avenue to show you another trick, another CSS trick. You know, there is always so many ways to solve a particular problem.
Yeah.
So let's justify items to center. Justify content to center. Now everything is in the center. Now, if we add the p tag, we rest assured that everything will fall in order. So let's just add the p tag. But for now, let me open the main LinkedIn site because this UI UX was done with another language other than English. So let me log into LinkedIn to see these tabs.
I have a question.
Okay.
You know,
Go ahead.
when you did your justify, sorry, your flex, right? Display flex. You did
Yes.
then flex direction column. But I like when I tried it here just to display flex, it actually worked. Like I don't even need to use the flex direction column.
Okay. No, the default is row. So I had to tell it there is
no from my own. I didn't change that. Wait, are we on what? Are you working on tab items or which one?
We are working on this pink colored tab items. What are you working on?
Sorry. I was on it.
The default is row, and there are so many ways to actually solve the same problem. You mustn't actually make this a display of column. We can still achieve this by the default display. Let me do it. Maybe it will also help us because that what I was trying to do earlier was a little bit advanced. That was why I hooked because I don't do it every day. So let me try and let's achieve this again using the normal row. So if we take out the display of column, it's still there. You understand? But the reason why it's there is because of the align items. So let's take it out. Let's take everything out. Let's go back. You see, it has gone back to the top. But if we say align items to center, it's center, then we have to justify content to center again.
Yes.
I didn't say about what. Okay, not self, sorry. Justify content to center. So it has made it center. So if I change this thing, whether I change it to row, well, even if I add the row or remove the row, it will still be giving us the center. It will still align everything to center. So let's add the p tags now. Let's save, then add all the p tags to those tags. That was why I opened up LinkedIn so that we see the actual names, the LinkedIn website itself, so that we see the actual names. So the first one is home. So we go to our very first item and add a p tag. You can add anchor tags, but let's just add p tag and just give it home. So our site should have, this one should have home. But did you notice the reason why we added that column is so that, you know, the icon should come on top of the name of the page, okay, the name of the tab. So that's why in the style here, I needed to add flex direction to column.
Yes.
So now it's aligned properly.
Okay, because each item takes the whole space, like in the line, takes the whole line. So if you add any item, choose the item down. Okay.
Yes. So if we left it, the default is row. So that means the first item would appear at the left-hand side, the second will appear at the right-hand side in a horizontal format. But if we say column, one would appear first, then the other will come in next. So let's do it for the rest of let's just add the p tags now for the rest of the tab items. So the next one is my network. So we just need to go to the next, add a p tag, and say my network. And if we go to our site, let's always go to our site to see whether we are putting in the right things. So that is good. Then the next one we have is jobs. So jobs, not Steve Jobs, real jobs. So jobs, not the Steve, the real jobs. Oh, sorry, I'm pasting it in the wrong place. That one was collapsed. And the final one, the next one is messages, right?
Sorry, can you open your CSS? My item is actually, sorry, when I add my network, I don't know if because the text it's too much or something.
Okay.
Like when I add my network, it pushes, okay, because of my end. Yes, it's part now.
So let me even see whether the network is starting with capital. Okay, starting with a capital later. So we can change that. Oh, we don't even need to worry too much about those tiny stuff for now. Then the next one is notifications, right? And me, notifications. If I can spell notifications. And finally, me. So there are some things we would need to do for me too, because can you see there is this icon here on the me? Yeah. So there is an icon here that shows on the me. So we don't need to use a flex again, right? We can do this. So the p tag with me can have something called a span. So this is a new tag for you. This is the first time I'm mentioning that one. So a span, it takes in a small, it has a display of inline, and it can take in anything, an icon and stuff, and then it will appear in the same line. Right within the p tag, if you notice, this is inside the p tag. So thank God we have our design. We can easily just go double click the icon till we get the icon itself. Copy as SVG. Then we just paste it right between the, what did I do? We just paste it right between the p tag. And here we are, we have our me here. So I think we've blocked it out. So now there are some things I noticed. You see here, if we are not either highlighting on the items, it's not going to be grayed. So we don't get all this information if we are working with just Figma. Sometimes you need to have an interactive Figma design, but the best is to reference the real site for some of these things. So you see, if we hover on it, it becomes black. But if we are not hovering on it, or it's not the active side, it's going to be black. So, and if we are not hovering it, it's going to be a gray kind of color. And then did you notice something on the notification? The notification bell has a 9. And that 9 is positioned on top of the notification bell. That means I have 9 notifications. So we can simulate it. We won't make it functional, but would have this 9 showing anyway. So let's do those things, and there are going to be some tips and tricks to learn when we try to achieve this. Let's go back to our own LinkedIn. So don't mind the way that I put pink color. It helps me, sometimes you should separate it from the background. It helps you to, be aware of what you are doing and place items, properly. So first of all, the pink, we'll start with the p tags. They are all grayed out. Then we'll make everything grayed out, even the home for now. Then we'd create an extra class, some extra classes to define those behaviors. So right now, let's make everything grayed out, and we can do that thanks to the power of the CSS. So the items, the tab items itself, the color should be gray, but let's get the real color value from Let's get the actual color value from the website, from the Figma file. So again, all you need to do is click on the Figma file. You would see the inspect and you will see values. So let's go to the color. Color, please show me the color. Come on. Let's click on design. Maybe I'll find the color here. Okay, this is the color. So let's get the exact color value. What is going on? Anyways, we can always click on the I key if we're having problem, and can always click on the I key and get the color. So which is A3, A3, A3. Very simple color combo. So can go back to our code and hash. Did I talk about why colors are represented using hash? Okay, so it's called the hex code. Maybe we'll talk about it later. Or rather, let's use this live stream for cloning softwares, and I'll try to be making video, short videos explaining concepts. So we've made all the text have that color. So I don't think now we need to have this pink background. We can take it out. So take it out. We don't need it. I think we've blocked everything. Then the icons itself, let's make sure it maintains the same color. So the icons, okay, I remember we copied and pasted the icons. Now there is something again. Is it a good time to discuss about that one? Anyways, we'll discuss about it later. Discuss about that particular thing later. So we've blocked it. So this home page is showing us it's still black. So why is that happening? So let's check our HTML and see whether we added a specific. Okay, the color here is the specific color we gave. We gave it a specific color of fill black. So we should go and copy the fill black of the remaining SVGs. So you can see why I insist on us using SVGs. We can always edit the values. So let's see this particular one. It has the fill of hash 666, but that's not what we want. We want the hash of A3, 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 A3. And here when we have the fill for black, we change it to A3, A3, A3. So this one has the fill of black, so we change it to A hash A3, 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 save. What's going on? Save. Let me refresh and see. Home. Yeah, fill. Oh, okay. Let's change this one to hash A3, A3, A3. Okay. So just go to your main, to the home icon, change all the field to A3, A3, A3. So if you change any of these values, it will actually change the shape of. I'm not a good SVG designer. Some people can actually code, like use SVG to design. Just keep typing and they'll make it just like how we write CSS. They can make their SVGs appear nice. So everything is grayed out now, except that this some of them are using a different color than we want, but we can leave it like that for now. So the next thing is to use CSS and tell only the active icon to be black. So to do that, what we do is we add an extra class. We call it active tab -tab. and we make the color black, and then we make the color black. So we can go to the home itself, the active item, the item tab. We paste the, we just copy the class name and add it to it. Just the home alone. Just the home tab. Active tab. So if you notice, this isn't changing. Why? Because we in the item tag, we have already specified a color for it. In the tab items, we've already, I'm coming. Let me see. Active tab black. The P tag, I'm coming. I just need to be sure about something. If I change the P tag's color, we change the P tag color to gray, okay, which is the item tab. So that is why it will not override the P tag item. So what we can do is to say we target just the P tag, P and Control S. So the P tag here is now black because we added the active to it. If we change the active from home, if we remove this active tab, a single element can have multiple classes. If we give it to the next one, which is jobs, and save, jobs becomes black. So that's indicating that it is the current active tab. So let's leave it at the home. Then we can highlight the SVGs too. For now, since we are not using JavaScript, we've not started working with JavaScript, we can just make this one black for now. Because all we are trying to do is to achieve visuals. Once we start doing JavaScript, we can edit this SVG from Java, the field property of this SVG from JavaScript. So we make this black. So it shows that we are talking about, we are just dealing with the active. Let me, please, if you can mute, please, if you're not talking right now, just mute so that we don't have background noise. So one more thing we need to do, one more trick is to bring this underscore, this one here, for the active tab. Now, there is a trick, a CSS trick I want to show you, which is the after and before. So we'll use the after for now. The active tab, since we only want this to happen to the active tab, we can say dot active after. So that means after the active, content empty. You have to provide this empty content. Then if you write ABCD, it will appear. It will appear, the ABCD will appear. So you see ABD. If you write ABC, it will appear. But we don't need any content appearing. We just want that on the line there. So we can make it empty. Make the height. Let me just use 10px for now. 10px. Make the width 100%. I will explain why I'm using 100%. Then make the color, the background color, black. Can you see, even though it's not perfect, it has come out? Then let's look at this one and get the right, the right dimensions. Let's get the right dimensions. In the inspect, the height is actually 2. So let's use 2px. Then did you notice something? Let me zoom. It's not appearing at the correct place we want. So now is a good time to work with position. So we need to make the parent tab itself the active tab. So we need to say dot active tab itself, make the position relative, and make this particular one's position absolute, and the bottom should be 0. It will appear the exact way we want it. So it will be aligned to the very bottom. So let me zoom out. So you see we've achieved our LinkedIn UI properly for these particular tabs, the active ones and the active one, and then the remaining inactive tab. Then finally, we need to add the notification sign. But before we do that, I want us to discuss more about positioning, because that's the trick we used here. And then we use the trick of using the after keyword to bring this one out. So before we discuss about it, let me ask questions. Does everyone understand? Does anyone? I believe people will just understand the tricks we use to achieve this one. This underline. Okay, go ahead. Ask the question.
Yeah, I stepped out for a little bit. I wanted to ask about this like the active and then active tab, then after. Like why? Yes, I wanted to ask like what's the reason of the after?
So the after is a pseudo element, is a pseudo HTML CSS element. So all we are saying is after all the UI, we don't want to create an extra div now because of this small thing. We don't want to create an extra div. So that's why we are saying after this element, just add us a little content. Initially, the after is used for doing things like adding a little text like that bell icon. With the bell icon, I'm going to use a div, and I'm going to show you the difference. Or if you want, the only way to do stuff like that, the only way to do this is to add a div, an empty div to your HTML, which adds file size to your project. So we can still achieve this actually by just adding a div, making it position relative. Making its position absolute, and then making the main element position relative. So the positioning now, when we say an element is absolute, we are saying its element doesn't care about the whole the positioning of the website. So if you make it absolute, it will say you can use the following, like the top keyword and the bottom keyword, to place it where you want to place it, relative to the parent element. The parent element must have the position of relative before the child element absolute will work properly. If I comment this relative property of the active tab, which is the parent element, and save, you will not even see that underscore we did. You would see it down. Can you see it's down? And it has gone to the nearest element, which is the body tag, and position itself down. If I make the bottom like 100 px, it will go up. Can you see it's related to the main tab? And if I should bring back this relative position that's uncommented, it goes back to be in relationship to the senior tab. So, and if I make the top here, because 100 pixel is too much, if I make it 10 px, you'll see that it's going up. And if I change this bottom to top, it will start from the top. So that's the use of the relative positioning and the absolute positioning. Then for the after is if you don't want to, I'm coming. I think I mistakenly cleaned everything. So if the after keyword is the pseudocode is for the pseudo element is for when you don't want to add an extra div to your project, you just want something small like a text or a small line to be drawn. That's when you use it. So bottom 0. Because this is all we want. We just want this highlight. If it is active, it should come. Then if you are adding a div yourself, you have to find a way to, if this, for example, if we are adding a div specifically, we need to find a way to also, translate that div to this page, to this active tab. If this becomes tab active, we need to find a way to move it to this one, or we need to hide, it needs to be present. So if we are using a div, I didn't mean we were using a div. Let me open up the CSS and try to explain. If we were using a div to draw this line, that means we have to have a div here under the p tag, have a div 2 under the p tag, have a div like, that means we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra divs or 6 extra divs and make them hidden. Then based on the one you click, it will become, shown.
I'm sorry, can you open your HTML to the home div?
Yes.
I need to see. Where did you add the div tab? Okay. Yeah.
So you can see the home div doesn't have any div that has this line and stuff. We didn't add any div. So we are making use of the power of pseudo elements called after to create the content. If I actually write A, B, C, D, it will come out. So that's the power of the particular after. So maybe you want to create another element without, you don't want to replicate it. You just want it for that particular active CSS. Okay. You can use the after. So that's why the content is empty. You can actually add a lot using this after. Let's not try to confuse people by trying to do that now. So if I, for example, all I need to do if I want something to be active and have that on the line is to just add this active tab. So just add this active tab to it. So let's go to my network, right? And just add the CSS to it, the CSS class, so the list of classes, and save. You would notice that it will come with it. It will come with the underline and make it black. What's going on? Active tab. Okay, sorry. I'm doing it the wrong way. Ctrl Z. Yeah. Ctrl V. Active tab. Save. So I just refreshed it, then it showed. Sometimes the browser misbehaves. So when I refresh it, did you notice we made it active too? And if I take the CSS out, let me add it to someone that is not close. Let's add it to the jobs. If I add it to the jobs become active, and it will have this on the line, and we didn't create any extra div. So it saves resources for you. You won't have to have like multiple divs there showing. So the next thing is for the notification. You notice the notification has this this number. So number 9. We can also use the same after keyword to achieve that and make the position relative and stuff. So we would just create a new CSS class and call it notification. So we'll just say dot notification or show notification count, notification dash counter, notification counter, and we can make the position absolute. So this is absolute to the parent element. Absolute to the parent element. So,
Hey, I
and
have,
the parent element now needs to be notification itself. So or bell icon, or we can just say dot bell dash icon. So that's the parent element. You're going to add it to the notification bell and make the position relative. So notice the flow here. We are making the parent element relative and then the child element absolute. Because if we don't do that, the relationship will be directly from between the notification counter and the whole browser. So that's why we have to make the bell icon relative and make this one absolute. And you said you have a question. Go ahead, ask the question before I carry on.
That's all you have already explained it, right?
Okay, so now this bell icon, we need to copy this. Copy it, paste it to the bell. So you see this item, so class item. So the SVG itself, do you know that SVGs too can carry classes? So we can actually add a class attribute to it and give it that bell icon and save. So, and if you want to be sure, you can just change the background color of the bell icon to pink. You want to be sure whether it works. You can change it to pink to be sure. And you can see that it is highlighted as pink. So I like to do this because pink is not too dark and not too bright. I sometimes like to add this color to know where I'm positioning things. So what I did was to just add a pink class, and added a pink to it. So thanks to the class F, you might not even need to use the fill property of the SVG. You can use the class to change the fill properties, maybe change the color of the icon itself. So but we are not doing that right now. So we will add that icon over here, the 9 over here, using the after keyword. So to do that, we don't even need this notification counter anymore. So all we need to use is the after. So dot bell icon sudo after. There are other sudo elements apart from the after. Is before but I myself, I haven't used all. I've used only before and after and some few ones. So after
I have a question before we move forward. Like,
okay.
other one where the content, you put an empty string. Like, you can just input a content directly from there, or what?
Yes, you can put a content. So you see here, the content will no longer be empty, but it will have a value. It will have 9. So bell icon after the content has 9, and the position should be absolute.
Okay.
No, not padding, position. Position absolute. Let me refresh. Sometimes the browser doesn't just misbehaves. Okay, I took out the content. Content, I don't know why I did that. Sorry. Content. Let me change the right to 0. This thing is not. What's up? It should be showing me the icon. Come on. So sometimes, because maybe we are using an SVG, we might be having some side effects. Maybe there will be fights between the SVG joints and what we are trying to do. So the content is supposed to show. Let me put bottom. Let's see, because this is exactly clean. So let's say bottom 0. At least the 9, I'm supposed to see the 9 because the bell icon's positioning is relative and the background color is pink. So like I said, we are going to be having some side effects. So To solve this, I can go back to the top and take this class out. Just take the class out, but copy, first of all, copy the class out of the SVG itself and add it to this particular item, notification item. So the 9 is now showing. The 9 key is now showing, but we want it to be black. So we are having some side effects because of the SVG. So we want the color to be black. Oh, sorry, the color should be white. Because in the UI, it is white. Then the background color, let me use red for now, but that's not the color they used. We'll go and copy the color. Can you see? It is red. Then we need to go and copy. Okay, in the UI UX we got, it is not showing a bell, a reminder. So we would go here. I have a tool. This is a good time to install a tool that allows us on our browser, get the color highlights for a particular style. So everyone should follow along. We are going to do this color picker. It's called Colorzilla. So open your favorite browser or preferably Chrome, Colorzilla, Chrome extension. So click on it, then click on the www.colorzilla.com, then install Colorzilla. Then add the extension to your browser. Add extension. And Colorzilla has successfully been added to your browser if you followed along. Now you need to pin Colorzilla so that you would see it. You need to pin it. So you click on your manage extension and pin it. So once I click on the Colorzilla, pick from page, I can highlight what I need to highlight and it will get me the actual color. And once I select it, it has added it to my clipboard. And all I need to do is to paste it. And we would have our accurate color for the bell icon. But now, it is not being positioned exactly where we want the icon to be positioned. And our icon needs to be in a circular shape. So we can do a few things. We can add some padding to it and give it a uniform value of, like, let's say 2px, rather 2px, not 3. 2px. Then make the border radius 100%. And it's we need to make it a square. So let's estimate the height, or we can also reduce the pixel, as we can also reduce the font size. So we can just say font dash size equals to maybe 10. We can work with 10px and see whether it will resize. It has resized to a reasonable small size. Then we can make it a square by providing the height to be, let's say 12px, and the width itself should be 12px. Then we need to make it centered. We need to center the content of the div. So we can easily do that by just making it a flex, because can just make it a flex, and we can just make the display flex. And justify content or align content center, not align self, align content center. Let me justify and see. Justify, oh, it's supposed to be align items, not align content. Align, okay. Let me justify the content to center because the default this thing is row. So justify content center. So you see it has come to the center. Then what we need to worry about, who is playing music, please? Let's see. Please, who's playing music?
Just mute him.
Sometimes it's very difficult for me to leave my flow and try to mute people. Please, let's try to be more responsible and try not to, because I was about to even today select few people to join, only few people to be joining the meetings because this meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. So it's difficult for me to do. I might just add some admins to help me do stuff like that. I'll see what to do. Then let's position this thing to the right place. So we just need to use the top here. This is initially we made it the bottom to be 0. So easy because it's closer to the top. So let's use the top. We are going to eyeball things here. So we can leave it at 0, right? It seems nice. So we would use it appears okay if we leave it at 0. Let me look at what the LinkedIn official site. Okay, let's reduce it a bit. Let's increase it a bit. Let's make it 2. Oh, my laptop is low. I'm coming. Let me connect it to the power. Wow. Sometimes I forget I'm in Nigeria. So let's increase it a bit, right? I put 2 in the value. So let me specify to px. And this is okay. Then we need to move it to the right a little. Let's use the left. So let's say left. We can't know the exact value, so we have to just do trials and errors. So let's say 20 px. Let's see what happens. No. So let's change it to, because we almost got it, but it's at the right hand side now. So let's just use the right. Wait, it's at the left hand side. Let's just use the right. Okay. And let's reduce it to 18. Let's reduce it to 18 so we get the value. Oh, okay. So increasing it would actually give us the value. So let's increase it to 22. Does it look about right? We can still increase it maybe to 24. Let's increase it to 24. All right.
24 is okay.
Yeah, 24 is okay. So we don't need this pink background anymore. We can take it out. So we only add this pink background to temporarily get what we need to get. So if we zoom out, we've gotten that particular one. So you see, most of us use templates. We don't understand the pain that goes, in achieving these things, these little things.
Yes.
Which is why I think even people who are experienced front-end developers who do not write CSS themselves should also look into this, because that's what would make you stand out. If you really know how the main things work, not just use Bootstrap for everything. You should know how to write your own CSS too. So the next thing we should try to go, the next detail we should try to go into is this to item, which is a bit similar to what we've done. So I'm thinking of doing a fun exercise, make you achieve, like, let the team achieve this. Just achieve this too.
Okay,
so
which one?
Can someone volunteer to try and to arrange these two properly? So premium, try premium free and work. Okay. So someone should try and achieve this properly. Notice, okay, mine isn't appearing well because I'm using a smaller screen, and so we would use media query to solve that problem. So who wants to volunteer and guide me to achieving this making this
Let me
appear
try.
nice. But before we try to do that, let's make this let's add this work, right? So which is quite similar to what we have here in the me. So we'll just add, you see the me here, right? We just add this too. Just copy it because there's nothing serious here. Then before the premium, paste it, change the me to work. So we need CSS to make it appear nice. So that's all we need. So who can try, please? Who can try? You see how distorted ours is looking.
Okay.
So you don't even need to code. Just tell us what we need to do, and I'll code it.
Okay. First of all, we have to make it. Before we do that, like make this center.
Okay.
That
here.
icon up there. Yeah. Previous ones. Then after
Yes.
them, a p tag of work. And then add a span, that's to add something closer to it, the icon.
Okay, we've already achieved that one. So all we need to do is to make this one in order. And I think you've gotten it to an extent, I think to a good extent.
You can just copy the code bit for the other ones.
Yes. So we just need to maybe specify another class. Let's see. Because this one, okay, tab item. We just need to give it a tab item class.
Right now.
Just need to give it a class because we already have tab items. Tab item. That's all. That's all we needed to do. Just need to give this one a tab item class and also give this one to a tab item class. Because we've already done all that. Okay, and we are good to go. Except for this one, you notice the text is aligned. For this one, the text here is not aligned to the left. It's aligned to the center. So if you notice, even here, the text is aligned center. So there is a property.
Can't you just wrap it in like a p tag and then? Okay. No,
it's already in a p tag. So we have a style. So what I'm trying to do is to just come over here, because you need to also know how to save type. So come over here, the properties of text align. So align text. Text align, yes. Center. So we just need to copy this and add it to the inline CSS. And that will solve the problem. So this is okay. What you wrote, let's write the English, try premium, retry premium. I once tried premium. I didn't see the use. I was just spending money for no reason. So that's why I don't pay for LinkedIn. And up till today, I don't know. I haven't gotten any benefit from having, a LinkedIn profile. I just have it because everyone discussed me to have it. Then free. Okay. So our website looks good. So now what we need to focus on is the main body. So the main body isn't going to be too difficult because we've already practiced a lot on Flex, right? We've worked with Flex. So, and it's still the same thing. If you notice, if you block the website, you would notice that here is a single, div. Here is a single div. Here is another single div, and here is another single div. It's just that the divs have equal space in between, and makes them look really nice. And it's not complex if you break everything little by little.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So let's try to achieve this one. Then I don't know. There are some things in LinkedIn that
Maybe
are
if you
really.
can give us after this, maybe assignment or something that we should
So
complete. Maybe we should like complete. If we
you should
start now,
try.
yeah, then we should sit down and complete the
Okay, yeah.
template.
So what I would do right now is to just block this ones and give them pink colors. We'll just block this, and this, give them pink color. Even if I give you an assignment, I'm still going to go over and make sure it is complete from my side. So I'll block this, and then you see this another nice thing we have here, this drop down, right? We might require JavaScript to do this entire completely, but we can for now just have it here. It's if you notice it's on top of the site. There's something I want to show you again called the Z index.
Index, yes.
Yes. So, but we will do that one later. I think we've really. I'm happy with what we have. We've designed the nav bar completely. So we can just block this, and let's just block this and continue. Maybe the details, maybe the exercises you have, because even here I can still see uses of flex here, and here, and I can still see use of the positioning. So if you notice, there is a div here with a nice looking background and an image right at the middle, positioned on top. So you can do all the stuffs as exercises. And so let's go and block these three divs. Let's block out these three divs. So remember the golden pink. So let's do this. Where is my code? If I can find my code. So we are done with the head. So we are in the main now. So in the main, we need three divs. We call it left side, middle. We call it left, middle, and right. I think that's okay for description. So we will add three divs. So div times.
First, I will know. Okay.
Go ahead.
I thought maybe we'll have to like create like a modern div, and then they all stay inside the div or something.
No, this particular guy is already handling it, the main. So one good thing you should also do is make sure you have as little divs as possible, because it can get really confusing very fast and messy. So that's why we have this main. It already describes everything for us. It tells us, oh, now this is our main div. This is our main content. So we'd have the class. If left for me, if I have my way, I wouldn't even have three divs. If I could do it that way, I will, but I can't. So we would have a class called left side or left content. It makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
You say left content. I don't know. Should I call this one main content, or we should just call it right content or main content class? We can call it middle content or main content, anyone. Middle dash content, if I can spell it right. Then finally, we have our final class, which is the right dash content. And here we are. We have the left content, the right content. So we need to write CSS. Now, and you see one good thing about having little divs is even your CSS won't be that much. So we need to add another CSS called the dot main. Not the dot main, just main itself. We are targeting the main, and we're making the display what? Flex.
Yeah.
And so let's style, since we've let's style those ones. Let's style those one. Okay. So let's see. So the left content, left dash content. Come in, the left content, the right content, and finally the middle content. Might have some similar CSS class styles. So we don't need to repeat those things over and over if they have a similar style. The background for those items will be white. Now, the flex direction for this will be row. We don't need to mention it because the default is row. Then let's see. So individually, separately, the left content, let me give it a width for now. So let's say the width is going to be, let me check this. Let me check the width for this. The width is 270 px. So let's give it that 270 px. And the height for now, let's give it a height of screen width. So VH, sorry, screen height. And let's give it the background is white. So why is it not showing? Left content. Let me be sure we spelled the left content properly. So left content. Left content in the main. Is not showing. Let me refresh properly. Hate this kind of problems. So the height is VH. Let's change the pink. Let's see what happens. Come on. This is weird. So it seems like I'm having a little challenge. I might need to actually create a div, an extra div inside the main. So that's why we even did the inspect element. So let me check. Let me use the inspect element to check this. So the body here, the main. So let's see the class. Yeah, the display is flex. Good. Why is the left content not? Okay, the height, the VH. Okay, that's where the problem is. Yeah, VH, that's views height. Or was that, let me have a change. What's going on? Let me give it 100. Let me give it 100% and see what happens. Okay. Okay, I don't know what's okay. There is a problem here. What happened? Let's see. Something is wrong. VH is supposed to work, but it's not working for some reason.
I think I know some. I don't know, but we use display flex row, and row only takes the space it needs.
No, now we are, it takes only the space it needs, but I'm trying to give it a height.
Okay.
Oh yes, I know why it's not working. That's because the main wasn't specified a height.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because the main wasn't specified a height. So saying v height will just not show completely. So, and we need to give it a padding. Remember, there was a default padding we gave the navbar. So we need to give the main to that particular padding. So the height, the header
Yeah, the header
had this padding. So we need to copy this padding and paste it here. Paste it to the main too. Yeah, that way it appears well. Then I noticed we have a padding top too. So we need to provide that padding top. So right now, there's one thing we can make use of the mean heights. So let's make this 100%.
I think it's 40. I think you can actually check like the height from the Figma file.
No, yeah, we mustn't actually in this case, because we are only trying to put this height. This is temporary values just to block out things. So you see this main, we can say the minimum height of the main, which is minimum height should be the screen width.
Okay.
So the mean height should be the screen height. If you say VH, it will take the screen height. And if I say height here should be 100%, or let me not use relative, let's use a defined one, which is like let's say 500 px. Like I said, heights can be weird sometimes. Height can be weird, so let's leave this. The height property of CSS sometimes gives you some weird behaviors. So let me make this one 500 px. If you're using relative value, it gives you really weird behaviors. So let's just save this like this for now. Then there is going to be a padding top. For this one, we'll just change the top and let's get the value from the Figma.
I think it's 40,
so control
40.99.
31.
Okay, it's 31?
Yeah, here, look at it, 31.
Okay, yes,
top.
okay. For this, okay.
So let's give it a padding. This one, we'll just say 31 px. Okay, sorry, that's the wrong one. The top is the first. The top should be the first. So 31 px. Yeah, that's good. You can actually go ahead and use relative. So if you want to use relative, remember this our site.
Yeah.
Just paste 31
so
to get the rem. Let's just round it to 32. I feel it's best. So 2 rem. There are some predefined sizes you should use. 31 is not amongst those heights. Then I think let's see. So there is a CSS property again for giving equal gaps between these divs. So here let's get the height, the width for this middle element, or instead of getting let's get the height, the width. We can either get the width or make it grow based on the width of this one and this one.
Okay.
Just to block the items out. So this the left content too. Since we are having the left content and the right content should have the same width, we'll just say right content and save, and they will all appear to be the same. So the only the problem now is because this one the other guy, the middle boy, doesn't have a defined width. So we can use we can say dot middle content and flex O2. So, okay. I'm having a weird, okay. Let me look at the CSS sheet and see what's the best one to use here. So we can, since there are 3, let me try and one more time, flex grow and type 3. Okay, it has taken the rest of the available space. Then
sorry, can you please my internet is connected for a little bit. I wanted to see the CSS.
So the middle one, I use flex grow to be 3. So it takes the remaining space after the left and right has taken the space they want. It's taking the rest of the space. Then remember, there is something called the flex. Let me be sure. Flex gap. So in the main here, we can say flex. We can say gap. I think gap only works for. But let me be sure. Let me just try it first. 20px. It should give. Okay. Gap only works for grid. Oh, sorry. If it doesn't work, then gaps on. Okay. It works for flex also. It works for flex also. So that gap, the gap in between the 2 tabs is here. Can you see the gaps? If you go to LinkedIn, there is a gap, right?
Yes.
So, but let's look at the UI UX and see what's the actual value for the gap. It's 31.
Yeah.
So, like I said, let's use 32. So the gap should be 2 rem. 2 rem. 2 rem would work fine. So we have our gap.
Yes.
We don't need to have this pink color. So, but it's
to know what we're working with.
Yes, to know what we are doing. Now, let's block out some detail. Maybe let's pick this particular side and block out details. Okay. So right in the Figma, let's focus on this because there are some, it looks simple, but there are some things that happens here. So we will add a div, call it profile card or something like that. Let's look at this one. I think it's a profile preview of yourself, right? So we can call it the profile preview card.
You need to add this also, border radius.
Yeah, no, we don't need to add border radius to these blocks, right? Mm-hmm. This is just what separates them. It's the cards that we will add that will have this. And note that you see this particular side is actually going to have a display of flex with column. This side, right? It's going to have a display of flex with column.
Yes.
So you see this content, this left content.
Yes.
And you see, that's why I group them together, because sometimes we'll have the same style. Yes. So this is how to group styles by separating them with commas. So here we can just flex it. We can give it a display of flex.
Column.
Flex, okay, and flex. Yeah, flex first. And you can actually just add column. Or no, there is a way to actually do it without adding the flex direction. You can just do it at once. I haven't done it in a while. I'm sorry, I haven't done it in a while. That's why I myself forget. There is a way, but anyways, I'll look at it. I'll refresh my brain, on it.
Okay.
So that's the problem of being a full stack engineer. You know a lot about stuff about a lot, so you forget some of the stuff you use until when you want to use a project, you have to go read the documentation, then refresh your brain, and you would always be able to do it, but however, you don't remember everything every time like that. So
Yes.
we would make it a display of flex and flex direction. Oh, sorry. Flex direction to column. So all of them have that property. So we can give all of them that property. Then I think that's all. So we need to have this profile preview. This profile preview. We haven't even finished here. You notice if we hover, it is highlighting. So maybe that would be one of your assignment. Make sure if we hover on this, it highlights. Then I notice here too, if you hover on some things, it highlights. So we'll call this the profile preview. So we'll go to our div. Right in between this content, we'll write another div. And the div is going to have a CSS class. I think we should go for a break now. It's time for prayer here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's time for prayer. I need to go pray. So let's go for a break and come back in 30 minutes. So let me pause this.
Okay.
Okay. We're off to break now.
Okay. Everyone, I'm back. Okay. Oh, hello. Hey, I'm back. Are you still there?
Okay, and we are back. Are we back? Let's see how many
Yes, I'm back.
participants. Are you back, Abdullah? Sorry,
Ali?
Ali.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back.
I'm back. Okay. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, I'm back. So let's just wrap this up. I need to play Call of Duty in the next. Yeah. So let's just do this. This design. Oh, sorry. I remember I'm not sharing the screen. All the screen.
No. I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, but you can't see the code. Okay. So you see, let's just do this. Let's focus on this and design it. Then tomorrow, next week. You see, the problem with this thing is it feels very slow, man. How I wish we could do this every day, but I have job. How I wish we could do this every day. It feels really long. So we'll just do this one and then, call it a day. Let's see what we can do for the next 30 minutes and call it a day. So let's see what we have on our view. On our view, we have this, right?
Yes.
All right. So remember, we gave it height value. So since we've successfully blocked out things, we don't need the height anymore. We don't need to give the project the height anymore. So it can go. Now we can start blocking out the div. So this div, we'll call it the profile preview. Dash preview. If I can spell it right. Then let's copy it.
Now, please, excuse me, sorry.
Okay, should we just call it a day? It seems someone called you now. Okay, let me just go ahead alone and let's just give it a preview. And okay, so border radius. Let's start with 8 pixels. And for now, let's define the height. Let's just block out the height and maybe call it a day.
Okay.
Let's define the height and width. Just make it come out, in the background. Let's make it come out. Don't call it a day. When we come back next week, we'll just wrap up everything and it'll be faster because we've already explained most of the concepts we are using. So we won't take too much time explaining things anymore. We'll just be working. I don't think there's anything new here. For the Saturday class, I don't think there's going to be anything extra new apart from flex and index and z index and stuff. So the next Saturday's class will just be wrapping this up, and Sunday's class will be responsive design, the actual responsive design. We'll first make this responsive before we move to another, topic. So the height should be, let me give it like 500 px for now. I just want to block this out. Then the color should be white. The background color should be white. Not attachment, background color should be white. Okay, and we look at the UI. So you can see we've blocked it out. And then that pink color, we don't need it anymore. That was just to block out things. We can take it out. And you see we have our side. And maybe let's block out the middle one too. Let's block out the middle one so that we just have some, extra things to look at. Let's block out this. It's okay. We don't need to block it out. Let's go. I need to go now. So do you have any questions before I run away? Since I'm the only one here, so we can end the meeting now. All right. Bye, everyone who's joining on the YouTube channel or everyone who is after. We'll see you next week. We have a lot to do next week. Thank God today we've explained a lot of concepts on Flexbox and we've achieved the nav bar, even though we've not achieved scrolling yet and we've not done a whole lot on the UI, but we've achieved a lot in terms of explaining how Flex works and some of the things like positioning. Now, tomorrow, or sorry, next week, Saturday, we'll try to complete this UI. Then on Saturday we start working. On Sunday we start talking about responsive design, and the next Sunday class is going to actually go back to 10 a.m. not 2 p.m. because it's difficult to work that 2 p.m. So we're going to start at 2 a.m. For those who can join, can watch the live stream on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining.